Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you. Whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. Alright, so this is gonna be the Neptune reading, right? Neptune. That's the soul connections, film, fashion, common basically it's like the common ground aspect and projections and things of that nature, right? So we're gonna see exactly what Neptune will be having come into with and for you. Some of it would be also in regards to some in the soul connections aspect, the deeper meanings that come into place with subconscious and those types of soul connectivity. All right. What it's given is in this whole Neptune aspect, it's gonna be about uh one of them I want to say definitely is gonna be like different ways that projected trauma bonds. Oh, what one person would constitute as trauma, another person would. Okay. All right. So hopefully that helps you guys out. I'm hoping this is gonna help you guys out just a little bit. I don't really intend on utilizing signs in this reading, but if it comes out, then we'll address it. All right. So Hangman. And it's Neptune. All right. So within this whole hangman, some of the things it is that would be projected, some of it's gonna be about the emotional stability, and some of it is gonna be in regards to uh, the Jewish nature and the symbolisms that come into place. So the other portion of it is gonna be in regards to what's going on with what wouldn't be enlightenment or what's the enlightenment at one's back. Hmm. Celestial justice, the celestialism. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. Yeah, what it's giving is it's going to be identifying a few different things as far as people that would be concerned in different films and fashion. Some of this might be for some actors and actresses because I'm thinking in regards to that about like the different types of karma that could come into place with different roles that one would play, especially if you're a natural actor versus method actor, meaning trained or not. So that's something else to pay attention to. Now the cards it is that we got coming out, right? For those who are in the alchemical aspect, it'll be about the happiness with one receiving assistance. The other portion of it is going to be in regards to not having the wisdom and not asking for assistance in the communications within their being balanced. This is given the grounded nature that will come with Neptune and like Libra. If a person has Neptune and Libra, it's kind of what that's given. Or in Capricorn, as a reaction. Cardinal signs. So some of the things you need to pay attention to is what you put out there you'll get back. That's gonna be what that's about. Especially in regard to there being codependence, not being protected, and not protecting a codependent. Oh, not protecting some kids. Oh my goodness. Okay, and we get further into it. Yeah, and how in that regard it's gonna be talking about how was a child when need help. Of course it's given like the Matilda portion of it, but there being certain things that a movie that would be assisted for is Matilda. One of the things I will say is that's a part of independence or just being able to sustain oneself, being able to do certain things. That's that portion, and the difference when a kid is asking for help versus an adult is asking for help. Oh, and then this other portion of it, yeah, because it's given what's being weighed and what will be going on in the vision of being two sides of the same coin. Hmm. Yeah, this is a lot of coins though. It's a lot of really grounded earth energy and what will be uprooted. Some of this is gonna be in regards to what will be going on with the body and like the legs and organs and things of that nature. Cause one of the things that was kind of coming to me is that whole aspect of with these shots is giving the whole diabetic aspect that can or would come into place, and the difference between taking pills for a condition versus having to get shots for a condition. Like even with pain management and all that, yeah, that's something that you got to pay attention to. Now, cause the movie Fight Club been coming up a whole lot, but then there's been a couple other situations, and with Neptune, those different types of connections. Yeah, is what's imperative to review and undergo. Because with Neptune bringing in the different aspects of that dreamlike state, it's already there. So walking around in dream state and daydreaming is kind of one of the things that is kind of giving. Yeah, that's what's going on in the vision. Within one being unhappy with a person not asking for help. Yeah, it's one of those. You should have asked me to help. It's given that how you should have asked me to help. You should have asked me to help. You should have asked me to help you. And then on the other hand, it's one of those. Yeah, you couldn't protect the. You couldn't protect the uh, codependents. You couldn't protect the kids. You couldn't protect the. I don't know what this is about. Yeah, couldn't protect the codependents. Couldn't protect the kids. Couldn't not being protected and being interdependent. So if you looking at this from the spiritual connections, so to speak, that will come into place with like different relationships, because yeah, the relationships or one projected the way one would have projected their mannerisms. You got to pay that some attention too. Yeah, and one's vision. It's given lighting. You got to pay attention to the lighting and the position. Yeah, for the whole Neptune aspect, that is fundamental core, the lighting and the cameras. It's always about angles. What angle? What's what's the angle that you need to review that in? All right, the knowing more that comes into place for happiness in regards to there being some discussions over the course of the month. What would have been discussed over the month? One of the things that's kind of coming to me is Joy Luck Club. This is, you know what, this is from an older reading that was done. I want to say that this reading wasn't done, the initial basis of it wasn't done in Neptune. It was done in a Jupiter reading instead. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do Jupiter after this, y'all. But what Neptune will be bringing in is the different love discussions, love decipherings, and walking away from, yeah, and what it is within one being unprotected and walking away from the cycle being incomplete. I'm hearing the whole what it is in the vision aspect to protect one's peace. No, cause I'm hearing distracted. What it is to be distracted, or the whole aspect of if you want something to look at, I could give you something to look at. Yeah, that would be better for you. Yeah, it's basically what that would be coming into place. Now these two are intersecting within the whole courting aspect and six of baskets and the hoodoo deck. It's going to be in regards to mother of baskets, what it is that one would have nurtured as far as uh, a long term soulmate. So that's part of the issue that would have come into place with some things. Yeah, because in the karmic aspect, karmic doesn't have to be bad. Now, the thing that comes into place with that is if it has to be said that a karmic doesn't have to be bad, then that there probably is a problem. I'm just saying, because you should be able to determine certain things with people just based out of the interactions it is you will have, and within reviewing and studying and all that, right? And then within that influence of uh doing what one would feel with a soulmate. One of the things that comes into place with certain situations, right, is cause my niece actually was coming to me a whole lot this morning, and it was realistically in a replay of where I was versus where I am. And in that, I remember in this particular situation, I posted something about family caring about each other and everything. And then my niece, she came and she just looked at me and she, kind of nodded her head and she said something like right after it. And my thing was, when I looked at it and reviewed it, that's the reason for there being different types of soul connections, different types of soul bonds, right? And different forms of family. The one that you choose, the one that you're born into, and the one that you have. The one that you choose is like, your friends and things of that nature, people that you want to surround you. The ones that you have, the ones that you're born into, of course, that, mom, dad, nucleus family. And the one that you have, that's the one that you created on your own. So setting up with those bases, right? If you're, if you're not the type, if you're not the protector person in the family, that's something that you got to pay attention to. If you're not the protector or the provider and all this other stuff, but in each one of those cycles, you do play or provide one of those roles to some capacity. No, I just heard it's not just the man thing. No, it's not just the man thing. That's not just the man thing. Because the provision that a woman would have is whatever the man gives her, she has to make it multiply and stretch. In short, understand what your provisions are. Hmm. Yeah, and what's been given to you, what's been provided for you. Yeah, the budget. Yeah, damn the budget. Nah, if it's talking about like in the budgeting aspect of shit. One of the things it is that I'll say in regards to this, right, within this whole courting and six of baskets, yeah, how something would start in June and doing what one would feel in June, that's one of them. It's a whole bunch of shit that, yeah, from what this is, yeah, because what I'm getting from it is the comparison and contrast of what happened then versus what would happen now. Yeah, family don't have to be, it don't always have to be a fucking fight. If that's all you do with the, yeah, and it's one thing if you fighting amongst yourself versus you're fighting with them. This is what I mean. When you fighting amongst yourselves, it's you going against them, right? It's the whole competitive factor. But in fighting with them, is y'all on the same side and y'all have the same training and strategy. So, yeah, pay attention to those different things. Ultimately, is what that's given. All right, and then what would be clearing out is some of the different illusions and what the illusion, opportunity, option, completion of the emotional cycle. Once an emotional cycle is complete, that typically does lead to this Neptune-like essence. Yeah, because it creates the happiness that'll come into creating opportunities with different with what it is that you would have been nurtured, and then not be and it yeah the clearing out of why there wouldn't have been a tower moment, and the illusion that comes into place with the underground being shaken, not stirred. Yeah, some of it will be about the whole inner earth aspect and from the nitty gritty. You know what it's giving? It's giving, if you would have watched B-list movies, A-list movies, or B-list movies, the hood movies, is kind of what that's giving. Paid in full. Yeah, that's a real popular one. That is a real popular one. So pay attention to what it is that would have been nurtured in regards to the feminine aspect. Fun fact, yeah, because I found this ironic in this whole feminine aspect. It was in this Mother of Baskets. It's the hoodoo deck. For a really long time, yeah, because this is something that Neptune is clearing out. For a really long time, it hadn't been uh readily acceptable for certain roles to go to certain ethnicities. And now, with the way that things are changing, yeah, because I'm seeing Lauren London and Old Boy, and now it's one of those, and she was one of the first, as we call it in cinema, black girlfriends that wasn't super ghetto, or she wasn't a mammy and she wasn't a hoe, right? Yeah, it shifted what it is to be, yeah, to be feminine in not only the public eye but in cinema. She wasn't being sultry, yeah, because that kind of goes a little bit closer to the um over sexualization aspect that'll come into place with like the earlier films, period, right? So yeah, like Carmen Jones, that's the other situation that, that wasn't. In short, it was one of those, she's racy, she's spicy, you don't want that type aspect. But when you further go into the psychology of a person who is in that particular mode on a regular basis, yeah, and how it is that the male's part was to cultivate her to be strong enough to be okay with being vulnerable. I hope that made sense. I really hope that made sense. So pay attention, in short, to within the casting of things, yeah, what it is that you constitute as nurturing, one being relaxed in their communications, and what is relaxing, and how it is you communicate, especially if it's going to be about, different opportunities. Yeah, is this is going to be about opportunities, or will this be about an illusion? That's what you have to, yeah, because an opportunity and what type of person you're dealing with, and then there, yeah, and then there being this situation. I just heard about July one not waiting, July the ship's not coming in, not being in a relationship, and then one not coming in with clarity. That's part one, and then the other portion of it is, huh, not even thinking about winning at all costs. Yeah, in short, it doesn't matter if one wins or not. You know what? In that regard, what I will say is that all I do is win, 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 no matter what. That when you get to that level, yeah, that's where you've actually gotten more. You've grown. You would have grown at that point. Yeah, because it's one of those. I don't care. This is what it is. This is me acknowledging what it is, and whatever happens from there just happens from there. All right. Yeah, once you get to that level of acceptance, shit, of life, you can make a lot of good shit happen. You really can. All right, it be a gamble. Sometimes it is a gamble, but I mean, doing what's right for you is always a gamble if you are the type of person to self sabotage. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So yeah, you need to pay attention to whether or not you're the type to self sabotage, or self destruct. Up and there, and knowing more of the tower moments will be the hidden emotions of one not being recognized in the discussions, and one not having healthy inspiration. What would be the healthy inspiration? In short, it's not what Yeah, what it's given is not what one would think it is, I guess. Okay, so hopefully that helps you guys out just a little bit. Neptune realistically is going to be teaching you a whole lot about the difference between an illusion and an opportunity. And what is given is I have come to the conclusion that I am not a thirst trap. I am a snuggle opportunity. Okay. All right. Light and love to y'all, okay? Because, see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. It is not light work. See what, and sure, classify yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, based off of everything it is that you've projected over the course of your time and being in that whole social media and Piscean era. And after you've cultivated that, that'll give you even better aspect, okay? And in that way, you can stay like while you are